So what I want to talk about is, for those of you who have seen my little short I did earlier on in the day, I want to talk about the rise of white supremacy in South Africa, because that is what seems to be happening at the moment. And they say I must invite this person as a guest, but even if I invite you as a guest, I don't know how it works because I tried before. So anyway, I'm going to talk first, okay? So this is what I said in my video, the one that's on my TikTok. I said, just a heads up for those who are still in the dark. Okay, this is what I said on Facebook. White supremacy has once again reared its ugly head in South Africa. It is being supported by Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, David Sachs. So those are very rich millionaires, billionaires. Donald Trump is obviously US American, and all the others, they are South African and US American, okay? And then it is being propagated by Rob Hersov. He is South African and he lives in South Africa. And Joel Pollak, he is South African born, lives in the USA. He might be the next ambassador to South Africa, but I doubt it. I don't think our government will allow him to come in. And then the biggest, the word is not supporters, but like kind of pawns, the ones that's making it move. Because these other people are behind it. The people that are making it move are the Democratic Alliance, all the white-dominated parties in South Africa, and then the ones who are doing the groundwork are like Afriforum, Solidariteit, and the Cape Independence Movement. Oh, sorry, the pawns are the white netizens on the internet, because you guys are spreading it. Now, of course, when you hear this, you get like, oh, how can she say they are supporting and spreading white supremacy? Okay, so before you get your panties in a knot, let me explain very carefully what is happening. It's not like they are standing there. None of these people, well, some, but most of them are not standing there going, we are the best. White people are supreme. White people are superior. All other races are inferior. They're not doing that. Most of them are not doing that. There are some doing that, but most of them are not doing that. But what they are doing, unintentionally, I hope it's unintentional, because it would be very bad if they are really doing it because they want to hide. They are unintentionally propagating or supporting or spreading white supremacy. And how they are doing that? Who's this? Someone wants to co-host. Okay, you ask me again later when it comes up, because let me first get all my talking out, and then you can all join in, okay? Right. So why I'm saying that these people, they are indirectly supporting, spreading, propagating it. And it could be, like I said, unintentionally, okay? Because what happens is, let's say, example, I take Rob Hersov. Whenever I watch a video of Rob Hersov, now Rob Hersov is this millionaire in South Africa who owns he owns mines, I don't know if it's diamond or gold mines, and he has generational wealth. He's a white man. So why I say he is propagating white supremacy, it's because whenever he does his YouTube videos, he is always bad-mouthing the ANC. He'll do that like for 80% of his videos, and then for the last 20%, because he's some kind of financier or something, then he will talk about how South Africa should manage the economy, which is very good. That's why I love watching his videos, because I'm more interested in how South Africa should manage the economy. But then I have to go through, hi everybody, I have to go through all this other ANC bashing before he gets to this. So he is propagating white supremacy, because when he is bashing the ANC like that, now he is just talking about how incompetent they are, they don't have brains, blah, 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 things that we all know. But then what happens is, for those people who are watching and then who start to comment, what they will do is they will, because we all know the ANC is predominantly black. So then what happens is that these netizens start becoming racist, because then they'll say things like, yes, but you know, black people have no brains. Black people are monkeys. Black people cannot rule a country. That's why when we ruled, everything was beautiful. South Africa was a first world country. Everything was working. Because we white people, only we know how to run the country. Only we know how to do things. Look at Kenya and look at Tanzania and whatever, where all black people are in power. You see, so do you understand what I mean? Do you understand what I mean then, that white supremacy is rising? Because the rhetoric is there now that black people, brainless, stupid, don't know how to, sorry, I'm reading something there, don't know how to rule, they just useless, blah, blah, and white people, only they know how to do it. When they do it, things are good, blah, blah, blah. You understand? So that is why I say it could be unintentional. Oh, I see, when you're like, that means you like what I'm saying. Yes, it's just, I'm not saying like, yes, Rob Hersov is propagating white supremacy, him and who's the other, Joel Pollak. Like I say, it could be unintentional, and I hope that it's unintentional. I don't hope that they really like wanting to bash black people and they're just being racist. So the same goes for people who are supporting this kind of rhetoric. You know, like example, like when Afriforum and these people or people are saying, oh, there's a genocide in South Africa. White people are being killed, especially the farmers, but just in general, there's a white genocide. So there is no white genocide. We all know that, because if there was, I said in my other videos, there'll be no white people in South Africa. And for sure, there'll be no Afriforum and Solidariteit and those people, because they would be the first people that would be killed. Okay? But because people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, these are billionaires, millionaires. These people, as far as I'm concerned, are very intelligent, educated, and who are surrounded by intelligent, educated people. So maybe sometimes they don't get all the news. But I'm sure these people around them have already told them, you know, we've done the research, blah, 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 blah. There is no white genocide. Because if there was a white genocide, it would have been looking like what's happening in Gaza now, isn't it? Like what Israel is doing. That we could say is a genocide. Well, I do say it is, but you know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. So I'm sure they are surrounded by these intellectuals and, oh, sorry, my cat is just because she wants to go outside, but I can't let her go outside. Okay, anyway, so I'm sure they know this. They know this. And even when it comes to like the laws that South Africa has implemented to redress past injustices, I'm sure that they know that it is not to discriminate. It may look like it's discrimination, but it's not to discriminate. And I'll read the laws later for you. I'll read why the laws are there. So these laws are to redress past injustices. I will read what the past injustices were. And they focus a lot on the economic equity laws, the BEE laws. So, of course, when they, like I say, they have these intellectuals around them, because I can see all these people coming out now talking about why the BEE laws are there. These are not South Africans, these are other intellectuals saying why it's there and why, and that the purpose for it is to redress past injustices. So these dudes, these rich dudes, they are surrounded by these people, and they also have brains. So they can see, if they read why the law is there, and they look what the past injustices are for, then they should be acknowledging that. But instead they don't. Like Donald Trump will keep going on, bad things are happening in South Africa. Elon Musk keep talking about, I couldn't get the Starlink can't go into South Africa because I'm black, which we know is a lie. It's not because he's black. It is because one of the policies for foreign companies to set up private limited companies is that they have to have a local partner, and that local business partner has to get 31% of the share, has to be 31% shareholder. That is the business law of the country. And it doesn't just apply to white people. If you were a Chinese businessman and you came to South Africa and you wanted to set up a company, you would still have to have a 31% local investor, a shareholder. Doesn't matter what race. You can come from Kenya, a black man from Kenya. If you want to open a business in South Africa, you also have to abide by that law. Every single foreign investment, okay, business investment, especially private limited, okay, the PTY Ltd type of companies. So what Elon Musk is doing when he's saying this is not true, okay, I can see a lot of you are also liking, I assume you're liking that what I said about the business law, that it is just, it's for everybody. It's not just for white people. It's everybody. So why I say he is supporting white supremacy is because by him saying this law is only restricted to white people. So white people are discriminated against, but South Africa should not be discriminating against white people, because we are the ones bringing in the business. We are the ones making the country run. With my kind of business, the country can be better. But because it's basically because he keeps saying that it is because he is white. So that means he is supporting. And then again, the netizens around him will be, yes, you see, if he comes in because he's a white man, things will get better. So that is why I say these kind of people, and then even they are saying, all these billionaires, even Rob Hersov was saying that all these rich people must support the white dominated parties. They must really invest money. And you know why he said? He said from his own mouth, because the ANC is losing money. So which means if all these white people invest in the white parties, because they have more money, they can achieve more. Okay, they can achieve more, which means they can like overthrow the ANC. Of course, they forget there's still many other black parties, EFF and MKP and Action 24 and Inkatha Freedom Party, etc., PA. Okay, but anyway, so that is why I say they are promoting, because then when they are talking like that, again, it could be unintentional, because they are kind of saying we cannot have black people rule. So us white people, get your money together and then rule. We must rule. Black people mustn't rule. You understand? But again, like I say, it could be unintentional. But it doesn't matter, because for the normal lay person watching, to them, it's like, yes, you see, Only white people have money. And see, only white people can tell us how to run the economy. And only white people have the right to come in here and to not get 30, to not have to abide by the 31% foreign investor clause. No. The Tanzanian and the Kenyan and the Egyptian and the Chinese and the Russian, well, they're white. I mean, but still, they all have to pay the 31%. But the white person, no, they mustn't. They mustn't, because South Africa needs them. They need them. They don't say that about the black Africans who are investing also big in South Africa. They don't say we need them. No, they only talk about we need the white people. But can you see what I'm trying to say? And again, it could be, hi Jacob, it could be unintentional. But even if it's unintentional, it doesn't matter. It's giving rise to white supremacy. People are fired up. That's why you can see on X and TikTok and all this racism from white people. Of course, there's also racism from the black people. I'm not disputing that. But this video now is about the white supremacy. That black one, that's another day's video. Today's video, okay? Right. And then people like, okay, then I said the ones who are doing the groundwork, the ones who are actually, because these others are just talking, but the ones are actually going around and, yo, white supremacy, are people like Afriforum, Solidariteit, and Cape Independence Movement. Because, why I say they are laying the groundwork, is because Afriforum and Solidariteit, they want a volksstaat, a homeland. And this homeland must be a whites-only homeland. So though they are going around the world, going to the US, spreading lies about white genocide, about discrimination, because, to them, the BEE laws is discrimination, about the EWC laws, which is the expropriation without compensation. I'll get into that later. Anyway, so time's going fast. So they going around laying the groundwork for this whites-only homeland. You see, they actually doing the work. They going to the US, they're getting support from all these Trumps, Musk, Steele, Sachs, Pollaks, all these people to lay the groundwork. They're getting the money, they're getting the backing. Yes, white people should be in the middle of an African country and have their own whites-only homeland. Yes, let's go. White power. That's what it is. For white power, I guess I shouldn't use this first, right? I should use this one. Just saying. Anyway, that's what it is. Okay, this is what they're doing. They're laying the groundwork. Now, is this intentional or unintentional? This is blatant, intentional. They're hiding behind, because our culture, our custom, our traditions, our language. Ek praat ook Afrikaans. Ek is ook 'n Afrikaner. Want wat is 'n Afrikaner? Is 'n Afrikaner iemand wat Afrikaans praat? Can I get you, I'll bring you in later. Let me first finish everything I'm saying. And then if you want to come in, I will accept. Okay, let me first finish my little rant. Thank you. Okay, I'm so happy that a lot of you want to participate. Okay, so where was I? I know I was like doing my actions. So anyway, so they're doing the groundwork. They going around asking for this. Oh yes, because they say, you must have culture, you must be Afrikaner. And like I was saying, ek is Afrikaner, ek praat ook Afrikaans. Want wat maak jou Afrikaner? Is it want jy is wit? Does it mean you're an Afrikaner because you're white? What if your father's white and not your mother, or your mother's white, not your father, Anyway, that's the groundwork for that. They want a whites-only town. They already have one, which is against our constitution, because they have to look at Article 25, and also our government has to look at Article 25, because under Article 25, it is not allowed for them to have an exclusive zone. That is not allowed in the new South Africa. Segregation is not allowed. And then you have the Cape Independence movement. These ones, I think they all ran into a wall and something happened to their brains. Because they don't even just want a homeland. They want the entire Western Cape to become an independent country. Can you imagine that? It's like they think this is the Middle East where Israel is supported by the US, and so they can have their space within the whole Arab. Everyone around them is Arab, and then they like the special privileged people with their little state there. This is what they want. They want a little Israel. They want their Cape independent country. They want to break away from South Africa and create their own country. What madness is that? And the person running the show is a British citizen who is he has permanent residency. He is not even a citizen of South Africa. Can you imagine someone from Britain comes to South Africa and decides that he wants to break up South Africa? And then there are stupid people who are gullible, who fall for this, especially colored people. I don't know how colored people can be so stupid. Yes, let's do this. So he's also going to run to the US to get support from Donald Trump, because you see what Donald Trump is doing in Israel, bombing everybody that is in the way of their little Riviera they want to build there on the Gaza Strip. So the West Cape is also on the western coast, beautiful coastline, horrible water. But anyway, so they're probably going to run to him and offer him that West Coast also, where he can build a beautiful Riviera. That's what they want to do. So obviously, if you are laying the groundwork for a white state, and you are white people that want to break away from South Africa because you feel your culture is more superior, your language is more superior, you are just more superior. That's why you want to break away from the rest of South Africa, because you don't like the way things are done there. That's white supremacy, because you are in the middle of an African country where the majority of the people are Africans, and Black Africans at that. And you decide, I don't want to live with these people. They're just not my kind. I only want to live with my kind. Who's your kind? White people. And why do I want to live with white people? Because they are superior as far as you are concerned. And you have all the netizens supporting this and spreading this. Yes, they need their own place, because how can they live with Black people? Black people they don't even know how to do this. They don't even know how to do that. They do this. They live in mud houses. They all this kind of stuff. You see? So that is why I say white supremacy is on the rise, because it has just become this madness on the internet. Madness. Okay, so now this is what I want to do. Everybody is complaining. The white people are claiming that they are victims, that they are being discriminated against because of the 142 race-based laws that discriminates against them. And they feel they are being punished. It's not that they've been punished. It is to redress past injustices. Okay? So what was the past injustice? So I'm going to read the past injustice that is related to economic equity. Okay, right. Okay, I wrote here, for those who still don't get why BEE laws exist. It exists to redress past injustices. So note well how the employment equity was always a thing in South Africa, and how non-whites were excluded from economic participation. So I'm going to read you. You know what the BEE laws are of today. If you're a white South African, you know what they are today. Now you hear what it was like during the apartheid. You listen very carefully. Take your ears and do this. Do that. Listen. Hendrik Frans Verwoerd. the architect of apartheid, this man, okay. So on the 6th September 2016, it was the 50th anniversary of the assassination of National Party Prime Minister Hendrik Verwoerd. And this was on the floor of the House of Assembly in Parliament in Cape Town. So, in his biography of the man Verwoerd, architect of apartheid, Henry Kenny is the author of this biography. He noted that Verwoerd had a dominating personality and those who came under his influence found him irresistible. This seems to have been one of those cases where that much abused word charismatic is applicable. Verwoerd's intellectual powers were clearly formidable. Supremely self-confident, he never doubted his correctness. Okay, that's just a little bit about who Verwoerd was. He never doubted the correctness of his views. It was an outstanding characteristic of Verwoerd that, once having made up his mind, it was virtually impossible to make him change it. So now we're just reading about Verwoerd so that you understand where this ideology comes from, okay? So as an early proponent of economic equity, so this is Verwoerd, he was an early proponent of employment equity. He said it was a possible solution to Jewish domination of the economy of South Africa, because we know that Jews were dominating South Africa back in the day, and they still do. Okay? Below are the possible ways in which the state can help Afrikaners gain their necessary share of commerce and industry. No mention of black and whites, only Afrikaners. The country's commerce and industry is still busy developing. In the first place, this expansion must be placed at the disposal of the English and Afrikaans-speaking parts of the population, presently being disadvantaged in these fields. So he was talking about the white Afrikaans-speaking and Afrikaners, the English speakers who were disadvantaged in the field because the Jewish people were dominating it. Legislation must gradually but purposefully ensure that to each white section of the population should, as far as practicable, enjoy a share of each of the major occupations, according to its proportion of the white population. Again, white population. No mention of any other race. No mention of blacks, coloreds, Indians. Nope. Only of white people. So, this situation is called balanced distribution, in Afrikaans evenwichtige verspreiding. But it has also been called a quota system, as Jews presently enjoy a disproportionate share of the wholesale and retail trade. Such a balanced distribution can be achieved only by refusing them further trading licenses, until such a time as the other main population groups, such as English and Afrikaans speakers, white people, have gained a proportion licenses held by Jews lapse due to special circumstances. They may not be allocated to compatriots until all other population groups have achieved the above-mentioned equal privileges. In Afrikaans, gelyke bevoorregting. In this regard, however, this does not include the normal transfer of business from father to son. So you see, during the apartheid, they did have economic equity. The difference is, it was to the advantage of the Afrikaner and the English-speaking white people in South Africa. Coloreds, Indians, blacks, not mentioned at all. Not at all. Totally out of the picture. Okay? And it was because Verwoerd had an issue with the Jews. So if he was alive today, they would say he was being anti-Semitic. So I don't know, all those South Africans that are so, pro-Israel. I don't know, you see your forefather, he was not pro-Israel, he was not pro-Jew. Okay? Right. So, complaining that BEE is bad, the reason it's set up like that, it is because it has to redress this. Because as you can see, non-whites were excluded from the economics from participation in the economy. They were excluded. Can you see that? Okay, so you see that? So it is to redress this issue. And if anybody, hey, I waved at Mr. Wash. Well, how did I wave at you? That's weird. Okay, anyway, so anyone who has an issue with the BEE now, go and look at this, because the BEE is redressing this. You understand? Because you as a white person, you can still participate in the economy, but just at a certain quota, like the Jews and the Afrikaner and English, the Afrikaners and the whites, how they were those days. Non-whites were excluded. You are not excluded from economics in South Africa. You are not. You are not. And then where the white supremacy comes in is when white people now will say, we have to be included in the economy, like hello, you are. But yes, we have to get equal opportunity, because we are the ones that can make the country grow, and we are the ones that just know how to do things. Yeah, maybe you do because you had an advantage. You had an advantage while you were being pushed up and helped. The non-white people were excluded. So we need to give them a fair chance. We need to include them. And I don't say forever. It can go maybe another 20 years. And also it can go person by person. The minute a person has brought himself up, then he doesn't benefit from BEE anymore. Because some people will rise faster than others. Okay, but let's be fair. Okay, so the other thing is where white people also now, the white supremacy concerning how educated and intelligent they are. This also comes out. Now let me show you why you are more intelligent and more educated than the majority of non-white people. It says here, Hendrik Verwoerd, infamously known as the architect of apartheid, stated, "What is the use of teaching the Bantu child mathematics when it cannot use it in practice? That is quite absurd. Education must train people in accordance with their opportunities in life, according to the sphere in which they live." Verwoerd clearly understood the ramifications of domination through educational deprivation better than anyone else who has lorded over the educational enterprise in South African history. This pronouncement was neither idle nor benign. It was profoundly cruel and criminal. It was promptly implemented through the promulgation of the Apartheid Education Acts, 1953, 63, 65, African, Colored, and Indian respectively. The closure of most missionary and night schools that were deemed to be miseducating black people, because they were actually teaching the proper curriculum, but according to Verwoerd, they were miseducating black people. Development of curriculums infused with the Christian national education doctrine, and the establishment of teachers' colleges that produced and reproduced generations of teachers schooled in Christian national education. A national inspectorate was created to ensure strict compliance. Okay? So this was what this new curriculum was. It was just about Christian national whatever. The damage was massive, decisive, and far-reaching. Those who rightly decry the current dismal state of education and proclaim that apartheid education was better, those people, especially white people who complain now, oh, the education system is so bad. During the apartheid, it was better. Yeah, it was better because you were receiving the good education. The non-whites were not. That's why you can make that remark. That's why you can make that remark, because you were living in the world of white supremacy during those days, and still think you are living in that life. Those who rightly decry the current dismal state of education and proclaim that apartheid education was better display a shocking ignorance of Verwoerd's nefarious intentions and their consequences. Now, did we get that? So if you think that whites are better and you are one of those people who is pushing this white supremacy agenda, and like I say, sometimes it's unintentional, because I've seen many people say, like now that Trump has said people can, white European South Africans can, he offered them refugee status in the US. And so many of the non-whites are like, whew, thank you, please leave, just go, sayonara, goodbye, futsak, tot ziens, they're saying all this. And then you get the white people, oh, but they don't know, if we leave, they're all going to starve. They must remember, before we came here, they were nothing. With us whites, they are nothing. We are the superior ones. You see, this is on the rise. This rhetoric is on the rise. The we are better. Without us, they cannot survive. Before we came, they were nothing. This is the rhetoric that is on the rise. And people, like I say, it could be unintentional, because it's so in the DNA already that a racist won't even know that they're being racist, because it's just in the DNA already. So it could be unintentional. But that kind of rhetoric is giving rise to white supremacy. Because the fun fact of the day is, if you leave, people will not starve. People will do what they have to do. The rest of Africa, there are no colonizers still in the rest of Africa. And they are doing quite fine. What makes you think South Africa will not do fine? And you must remember, all those African countries that are not colonized, that are doing fine, they will still tell you that South Africa is the best country to live in. It's the richest. It's the best for them. It has the best education. That's why they leave their countries and they come and study in South Africa. That's why they leave their countries and come and live in our country illegally. So if you go, it's not going to be a big deal. Oh, there'll be no farmers. They'll have nothing to eat. It's because we have been feeding them. You've been feeding the people of South Africa, but it was a trade-off. You grow the crops and they buy it with their money. That's just how it works. So, and if you go, they're just going to find someone else to do it. Oh, but South African blacks know nothing about farming. They don't know how to do it. Only us white people. Well, let's, for argument's sake, they don't know how to do it. We will find people from other countries who know how to farm. There's people from Denmark, from Finland, from Poland, from Russia, from China, from Laos, from Vietnam, from India. They know how to farm. So if we can't farm, there's farmers from Africa. If we don't know how to farm, we'll ask them to come and do it. And I'm sure they'll be very happy to come and live in South Africa, the land of milk and honey. So that's what South Africa is. Okay, so where does that come from? And before we came, it's the white man that made them who they are. No, how do you think people survived before you came? You must remember, the Bushmen have been living in South Africa since the beginning of man, because they are the first Homo sapien. So since the beginning of mankind, they've been living there. And how do you think they survived? Who do you think developed the first tools, the first shelters? Who learned to cultivate the land? Who learned to harness fire? Who were the first people to do all these things? Who were the first people to know how to hunt, to make a hunting tool, to catch the animal? Who did that? It wasn't white people. It was the Bushmen. And then you want to sit there and say, yeah, let me show you how superior us white people are. You want to talk a lot on X, and you sitting there on a white man's platform using white man's technology. Yeah, and you are sitting around, anything that is heat powered is a black man's invention. Because who learned to harness and control fire? Who? What you get from fire? You get heat. You get energy. You get power. Who learned to control and to harness it? It's on the rise, people. It's on the rise. And we have to nip it in the bud because we've been down this road before. We've lived it before. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about the white power because we're running out of time. I've got 10 minutes. So anyone who wants to get invited, okay, 10 o'clock in my time, 4 o'clock in South Africa. People, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you learned something. I hope you have some feedback for me. I hope you'll be here for the next one. Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Cheers.